What's up, everybody? Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm gonna be playing a little Narbash in the jungle. First, let's go over the deck. Now, I have improved Killing Blows, Lifesteal, Healing Towers, Mana Reactor, Damage Return, and Consume the Dead for my gems. Now, for my cards, I have Cull the Weak, Demolitionist, Living Guardian, Nitro Boost, Possessed Sprykin, Guard Piercer, Swamp Stalker, Wicked Repose, Heavy Hitter, Thorns Yami, and lastly, Compensator Rig. Now, before I get into the match, let me kind of talk about why I'm doing this. Now, our team comp was just kind of all over the place, and I was the first pick, and I went with Narbash. And our very last pick, she locked in at the last second, and she went with FaZe, and she said she was going to jungle. And our Wukong also said he was going to jungle. And then you can see, I said, okay, well, I'm going to be in the lane by myself. And then they both actually head to the safe lane. So I'm going, I guess I'm going to turn into Jungle Narbash. So that's kind of what I did. I mean, I tried my best. It was a very strange match. And just to prove what's going on, guys, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a screenshot of the draft right now. Now, you can see here, it was definitely a very odd draft, and our FaZe says, hey, I'm gonna jungle, and it's like, what? So, no problem, we're gonna make the best of it, and we actually have one of the funnest matches I've played in a long time, where everybody was doing just playing around, just having fun. I am in comms with my off lane, and I'm actually in a party with my mid lane, but we're actually not in comms, so you know, we've kind of got a little teamwork that we can do, but, you know, it is a very unconventional match, so we're going to do the best that we can. Now, I start out in the jungle the same way I start out with pretty much every jungle hero. I clear 2 camps and then go for my green, but since Narbash is so mana hungry, if you're going to use abilities, you know, I end up having to back after my green, which, you know, that's not uncommon for jungle heroes. But, you know, like I said, I would much rather be in that support position. Hopefully, FaZe and Wukong can do some work. You see, they got a very early kill, so, you know, I'm kind of going, hey, this might be a great match, so we'll definitely have to wait and see. But I'm going to go ahead and break down this gameplay like I typically do. Just know, I really do not recommend playing Narbash in the jungle, and, you know, if you want to do that, hey, go for it, but you're going to struggle a lot more than if you put him in that safe lane with, you know, being a support hero. You know, he's really built to be a good support, and he strives at doing it. Now, after I head back to lane, or to jungle, I guess, I go ahead and wait around for the river buff, you know, and I tell Faye, hey, you go grab the other, and then I'm going to head to the off lane. Maybe I can, you know, help out, we can get a kill. You can see I still am fairly under-leveled at this point, just because I don't have as much wave clear, and, you know, I am playing quite a bit slower than other typical supports do. We do manage to wrap up that Wukong kill. You know, FaZe made a great rotation. I go ahead and use my Cull the People and dive that Aurora a little bit, and we're able to take her out as well. So, you know, we're off to an amazing start. That was a great rotation by our Faye. You know, like I said, we are in a party, but we're not in comms. You know, that just kind of shows you that when you have a little more experience when playing certain positions, you can make these really great calls that, you know, that would have turned into me just going over and scaring them off, and it ended up being us getting a kill on their ADC and support. So that was a great play all in all. Now from here, I'm going to just try to clean up this jungle camp as quickly as I can. I'm going to head back to base, and I put on my first real damage card, which is Possessed Sprykin. You know, I really like the power in this card and the health regen. Hopefully that will help out. Now, we do rotate over on this Morgesh. You know, she was coming for that river buff, and luckily I was there to stop that. And hopefully we can, you know, wrap her up. Again, Faye takes that initiative. She's able to collapse, and we're able to get this kill. So, you know, we're starting off at a great start. Faye's already got 3 kills, and I've got 3 assists. You know, I'm doing the job of a jungler. You know, so we're just having a very successful match at the moment. I'm going to try to push this tower and get some damage on it. Now, since I am a support, you can see I'm only hitting for 27 damage. So I am not doing just crazy amounts of damage, but hopefully with our mid lane and our Faye here, we can get something done. Chimera does head in. I say, you know what, it's time to get out. You know, we just really need to leave this. I want to make sure Faye does actually get out as well. And once the enemy team kind of rotates towards us, you know, that's it. I gotta go. Now from here, I'm going to just go ahead, grab my green buff, and then I'm actually going to head to the mid lane. You know, our Faye is dipping out, so I need to be there, just kind of help out with that lane. You know, I was kind of getting set up for a gank, but I realized, hey, she's backing. I do end up kind of just wasting that green, but hey, it's no problem. Now, I run around, you can see I'm kind of heading around. I'm going to let Morgesh think that I've left, and I go ahead and say, I'm going to attack mid lane. You know, their Wukong heading in kind of messed things up a little bit, but hopefully we can actually make something happen. No, I missed that stun. You know, I was aiming at the ground for whatever reason, and they end up getting away. You know, that's unfortunate, but it definitely is what it is. So we've got to just continue to put pressure on. Now they are getting a collapse, and since I am out of mana, I need to back off. I'm going to head and use that Call of the People, try to get some health regen up, and then zone for my Faye. Luckily, you know, no one went down there. We're both very low on mana, so there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do at this point. But, you know, we did make a decent play. We forced a couple of people out of lane. They might have forced me out of lane, but nothing major happened there. Now, I do back, and I'm able to top off with mana. I end up actually putting on Nitro Boost, which, you know, to be quite honest, I would have much rather had the Sand Speeder just for that. I don't like active cards, but no problem. Now, I did manage to pick up both of those buffs, and hopefully we can actually make a play happen. Now, I do end up stealing that buff from Morgesh, and Faye paired with my ult, we're able to just destroy this Morgesh. You know, that great pairing with those ultimates. You know, we were able to steal that river buff so she didn't get the mana regen to, you know, actually activate that go fast button. Faye does need to get out, but hopefully I'm going to be able to push this lane, especially with these orange buffs. You know, for everybody that doesn't know, orange buff is the new black buff. They've removed black buff because it was visually harder to see on the minimap, and orange is much easier to see, although I don't really see this as being orange. You know, it's more like a gold or a yellow, but hey, it is what it is. They're calling it orange buff, and it's really just black buff. You do a dot damage with your basic attack. Now, I did have some rotation, so I do have to dip out of that tower. I am out of mana, so I've got to be careful. Faye does amazing peel for me, and, you know, that really lets me get out a little bit. But it's time for me to trade the favor, so I kind of do a little peel for her. I'm able to get that thunk off onto Chimera, and Faye's able to take him out. You know, we're making some really good plays here. Now, Morgesh, I'm sure that was a misclick, because she ulted me, and hey, that's great. We know her ultimate's down, so hopefully we can actually make something happen. I do have healing tower, so, you know, I am staying under tower and kind of, you know, regenning a little bit, but I do need to go back. You know, I'm completely useless without mana, especially since I am building this more kind of power build. I don't have near the sustain as I, you know, would typically like, but this does allow me to put on Guard Piercer, so should be hitting a little bit harder now. Now, from here, I'm going to go down and pick up my green buff, and then just kind of look around, see if I need to make something happen. Now, I am in comms with Kalari, as I said, but me and him have never really played together before, so we're not quite communicating like we should, but that's no problem. I'm going to try to get over there to actually help him out. Faye does end up collapsing on that Chimera, and I say, you know what, Morgesh is getting out. I'm just going to leave her alone. I'm going to head over to this Chimera, and hopefully we can take him out. Now, I do end up using my ult, and sure enough, we're able to secure that kill. And, you know, I did see Morgesh kind of around. I'm not sure where she went, but we need to go adjust our lane. I don't want to worry about Morgesh at the time. I do still have green buff, but hey, you know, it's no big deal. She is pretty elusive and she could probably get out. And without me having any type of stun, I'm not going to be able to stay with her. Now, I do end up kind of just securing this lane, pushing this lane. Kallari shows back up, so I'm going to leave that for him, or for her. I'm going to head back, grab that heavy hitter. Yeah, put heavy hitter on Narbash. And we're going to try to make something happen. Now, I do throw my stun at that Chimera just to kind of see the damage. And we are able to secure this tower. You know, Chimera really should have got out. And, you know, but it's no big deal at all. Morgesh is here, but I am running out of mana very quickly. Since I am not building into anything mana-wise, you know, I don't have a big pool at all. So it is, you know, I'm going in, using my heal, and before I know it, I'm out of mana. Which, since I don't play Narbash like this, you know, it is kind of deceiving. But no problem, we're still making some very good progress. I am able to secure this other orange buff, and I go ahead and throw a point into mana just to see, you know, hey, it might help. And then I end up ulting both Narbash and that Chimera, but I want to take out Chimera. Morgesh was definitely a lot more healthy. Now, again, Faye does her root, and I'm able to get that thunk, and we just delete that Morgesh again. So this match is starting out just very, very strong. We're 3-0-5, and we've made some absolute incredible plays. But you can see our offlane is being pushed very heavily. I definitely need to head over to that Kallari, and hopefully we can turn this fight around and, you know, really kind of help out. Now, I don't have enough mana. I do have March, but, you know, I don't really want to use March right now. I might be able to save it to catch up for the kill or things like that. Sure enough, there are Kallaris able to ult in, and we take out that Wukong, no problem. But from here, we need to adjust that lane. Now from here, I'm going to just push this down to the tier 1. I didn't realize our tier 1 was still up, so I started backing and I went, hey, let's hold on, let's push this. And we do end up actually taking down this tier 1. Now if you saw there, I did use my march to actually speed up the minions. And that is something that can be done with Narbash. It's the same with Gadget's little gate. You can use those abilities to actually speed up minions. And one thing people don't realize is you can actually heal your minions with Narbash's heal, but it's really kind of a waste. I would definitely not recommend healing minions with your mana, but you can do that. So if you are using that in, you know, trying to heal up your ADC, stand close to the minions so they get it as well. So no big deal. Now, our Faye is actually going to invade for their green buff. I was going to head to our offlane, but, you know, hey, Faye's here helping out with the green. I might as well show up over there and make sure we're able to get that. She ends up taking it, and now we're going to head to mid. You know, she's got green. We should be able to really make some damage happen here. And, you know, I could have gotten green, but I think having it on that caster, you know, me being a not-so-damagey frontliner, I would rather the caster have it. Now, Aurora did use her ult, which, you know, it's going to hurt a little bit, but we are able to get our ult off and do a pretty good chunk of damage to that Aurora, and then we actually end up taking her out with that thunk. I still have my heal going. You can see we are healing up. We do survive that Morgesh ult, but, you know, Chimera's here, so we definitely gotta get out. Now, Faye is on her way towards me, and so I'm just gonna kind of run around this tower. Now, that ult takes me down quite a bit, and if I would have hit that thunk, I might have survived. It'd have been very close, but me staying under that tower and not just constantly retreating allowed Faye to catch up, and she's actually able to secure that kill. So all in all, we end up with a 2-for-1 fight, and, you know, hey, that's successful in my opinion. Now from here, I end up telling our Kallari, having a little bit of trouble dealing with Wukong. And I say, you know what, Clary, why don't you go get a little more fed? You can kind of take over the jungle role, and I'll really try to lane for you. You know, with our inhib having as much damage as it has, I definitely want to make sure that this lane does not get pushed anymore. So, you know, I kind of tell Clary, hey, let's push this, and, you know, we have some enemies rotate over here, and I just don't want to deal with that. I'm not comfortable with it at this moment, and I tell Clary, hey, why don't you go ahead, you kind of do some jungle things, and I'll go into my lane, or I'll go into your lane and try to see if I can defend it from Wukong. At this point, Wukong's fairly fed, and with Sacred Alchemy, you know, he's just cranking out tons of damage. And, you know, I even with my heal on, you know, I am in the middle of a minion wave, but I'm really hoping to kind of stop him. I am telling Kalari, hey, you gotta head over, and she's like, okay, I'll ult over when you need me. You know, which that's a little bit of a miscommunication, but she does end up ulting over. But you can see with that Sacred Alchemy, he's very, very tanky. And with me not being a real damage hero and missing that thunk, I'm not just doing tons of damage to him. And I miss another thunk. You know, I've been having a rough week, guys. So, but we are getting quite a bit of damage on. We do actually get that last thunk, and we are able to secure that kill. Luckily, he didn't turn on to Kalari. You know, I think if I was him, I would have taken out the real threat, but he didn't. So that allowed us to actually secure that kill. Now, with Wukong being the way he is, I really want to work towards getting my Thorned Yami on. I wanted to test out the Compensator Rig. You know, that was a requested card to test out. But I really want to work towards Thorned Yami. I think that might be able to shut him down. And I actually do end up testing it out. So I'll kind of give my thoughts whenever I am, you know, using that card. And, you know, I'll kind of show you what it does. But I am able to put on that Compensator Rig, and hopefully this card will help me. You know, one thing about Narbash, though, is since I do have my heal, I'm not going to benefit just tremendously from this card, because I'm going to stay fairly healthy until I'm, you know, almost dying. So, now I do end up ulting this Wukong, and you can see I'm not doing anything to him. And even with my ult, even with everything I got, I have to have help. You know, he is fairly fed. I'm kind of looking around, see where he's running to. Hopefully we can actually get a pick on him. We do chase him a little excessively, but we need to shut him down because he is definitely a threat. Now he jumped out of that thunk, but Faye is able to actually get this last hit and take him out. So great play all in all. Faye's going to head back to that off lane. I'm going to head over there too. You know, I really shouldn't have chased that with her. I should have secured my lane, but I definitely wanted to make sure he was taken out. Now I end up rotating to mid, and our Kalari unfortunately goes down again, but FaZe is here, so I'm thinking, hey, you know, I'm fairly tanky, and, you know, she's got her ult. You know, us combined together, we should just be able to dominate. And especially when she ults me, I'm going to have full mana regen, so I'll be able to just leave my heal on. You know, us paired together, I don't see why it wouldn't be just an unstoppable combination. Now, I want to push this lane, and she actually pulls me back when that Wukong shows up. But, you know, hey, let's go in. We're together, you know, we've got their ADC down. We should be able to make something happen. Unfortunately, she doesn't ult me until, you know, it's, you know, I'm almost dead, and then she decides to ult me, which, that, if you're a FaZe player, you need to start with your ultimate. Engage with your ultimate. You can see there, she ulted me, and I instantly died. And if she would have ulted when that fight started, or right after I used my Crash Bang Boom, we would have definitely secured some kills. But since I was running out of mana and low, you know, that ult had zero help, and I couldn't run my heal without it. So, it is what it is, but if you are a FaZe player, you need to engage with your ultimate, or use that ultimate early. Don't use it to just run away. That's not how her ultimate works, and that's really not how you should use it. once we do spawn back in, I go ahead and head back to that off lane. And, you know, I've got to definitely help out with this push. Our Kallari's a little low. And, you know, we have to try to make something happen. Now, Kallari really needs to get out. You know, she's hurting pretty bad. We do get that ult on Kwong, or on that Wukong. But, you know, with Sacred Alchemy, you can see he's just not taking any damage. Once he starts hitting you, you cannot stop that. And with me having a hard CC, I need someone to be able to follow up with some damage. And we're just not having that currently. You know, it would be nice to have, you know, a ranged hero to deal with him. That, you know, a ranged hero could stay away from those clones and just do tons and tons of damage. And, you know, that would be great, but unfortunately we don't quite have that. Now, I am going to go help make sure we secure this kill. We end up, you know, we're not having just a tremendous amount of laning efforts with the team right now, and you can see they actually end up taking down our mid tower while two of us were trying to deal with that Wukong, who would have definitely taken out that off lane tower if we weren't there. So we're not having just a tremendous amount of lane push and lane set. You know, that is a bit unfortunate, but, you know, this has been just a very unusual match so far. Now, I do end up getting this lane pushing towards mid. Hopefully we can head over there and help out. You know, Wukong did end up going down there. You know, I was thinking that they would be able to handle that, and that's why I wasn't using my March Dad over there. You know, FaZe was there, but it did not work out that way. Now, Aurora does show up. I didn't even notice Aurora showing up, and they're able to take me out again. You know, that it was just an unfortunate situation we were in right there. Now again, you know, this wasn't really a bad situation. I think we are playing with, you know, a newer FaZe player, so she's not quite, you know, doing what I am expecting, and it's really throwing us off. You know, that's one thing. FaZe really offers nothing to the team. She offers everything to one hero, but nothing to the team, and that's where you really have to work on playing her. You know, get better at, you know, using her abilities when you need to, things like that. But hopefully this match, maybe if our FaZe is watching, she can see, hey, you know, this is how to do these type of things, and maybe this will help out. And for everybody else that wants to play FaZe, you can see, go into that fight with your ult, you know, use your abilities to heal heroes up, things like that, and, you know, hopefully we can make some more forward progress here. Now, I did put on Thorns Yami, and I'm gonna say, hey, this should absolutely melt Wukong. And I actually use it here, and you see he takes no damage. I had no idea that that Sacred Alchemy would be completely, or would cancel out Thorns Yami completely. You know, that's kind of the reason I dove into that wave, because it's like, man, I'm just gonna slaughter him. And, you know, for every hit that he hits me, he's taking, you know, 65% of his damage back. I really thought that would just shut him down, but it's clear that with that Sacred Alchemy, you know, once Wukong gets that, just kind of run away from him, or hope you have some ranged heroes to deal with him. You know, that's very unfortunate. I thought that card would work better, but, you know, yeah, if the enemy team is running Thorns Yami, just put on Sacred Alchemy and you'll be fine, apparently. You know, really at this point in the match, you know, our team is not working well together. Me and Faye have made some just incredible plays, but we're just not working well together. They just secured Prime, which is, you know, that's going to be an issue for us. You know, people always want to surrender, and I don't really believe in surrendering. Sure, if you're really not having fun, but when you go into a match like this and you pick this type of team comp, you can't expect to do well. You know, if you're the last pick or the last two picks and you choose to completely ignore team comp, that's on y'all. You know, you should just stick out that match and learn from that experience. You know, we could surrender right now. The match might be very well over, but we end up dragging it out for a little bit longer and, you know, just trying to have a little fun. if you play with me, guys, I don't like surrendering. So, you know, typically, even if we are just absolutely getting slaughtered and everybody's getting upset, I don't like surrendering. I like letting the other team win. And because I appreciate that myself, I want to win. And, you know, so it is what it is. Now, again, we're here trying to defend this core. FaZe really needed to ult me a long time ago. You can see she ulted right when Aurora froze us. And so, you know, there's half of her ult and our core's completely gone. We could have got that ult off much sooner and actually had an impact, but, you know, we just didn't. FaZe has just really not quite learned when to use her abilities and things like that. And, you know, hopefully we can learn from this, you know, ordeal. Again, this is a fun match, so, you know, it's nothing really serious, but if you're playing FaZe, you have to ult at the beginning of the fight. You cannot wait, and especially don't ult when, you know, Aurora uses her ult, because your ult's going to be gone by the time you get unfrozen. Now, I'm just going to make this crazy fast just to really get through this. You know, this match is a little long, so I'm really just going to speed these deaths up. You know, we've had quite a few deaths just back to back, and it's really because our team just isn't quite syncing up well with one another. But Faye and Kalari do head over to help deal with this Aurora. I'm thinking, hey, we should be able to take her out with our Kalari here. You know, she should be able to slow everything like that. And, you know, we probably shouldn't have chased this once she used her ult. But, hey, you know, the game is struggling at this point. You can see our mid lanes being pushed. I was really hoping to get that final thunk, but it's no problem. We do have 2 inhibs down, and we're just not really making any forward progress. You know, we've only got 1 of their tier 2s down. And, you know, it's kind of at this point, you know, hey, let's just have a little bit of fun. Now, from here, I'm going to head to our off lane. Again, you know, at this point, you know, it's going to be very, very difficult to actually make a comeback, especially if our team doesn't start working well together, and if we're just rotating from lane to lane like we're doing now. You know, this lane is not getting set, so it's going to push, but, you know, we do have to go help other lanes as well. And when you kind of get into this defensive stance where you're rotating from lane to lane, trying to defend your last tower, things like that, it can be difficult. Now, our Wukong is pushing that off lane, so, you know, that's kind of why we all left it. But, you know, at the same time, there's no one here in mid. And me being Narbash, you know, I definitely don't have the best wave clear. And with these, you know, super minions, it's going to be very tough for me to actually push this lane at all. But we are going to continue to make progress. You know, I'm going to go down fighting. You know, if we lose, I'm going to do everything that I could to win this game. And you see, I actually end up ulting that Aurora, which, you know, I don't think that's ever been done since she got her ultimate changed. We are able to get substantial amount of damage on her, but they have a pretty good team collapse, so I need to back out. I am able to thunk her a second time. Faye ends up taking her out. You know, me and Faye, we're doing very well together, but, you know, unfortunately, we're just not having that synchronization with our other teammates. But that's quite alright. Now, I do need to back. I'm out of mana. I'm going to be completely useless. So, I'm going to head back, top off with mana, and see if I can go help out elsewhere. You know, like I said, it's going to be difficult to come back from this unless we start actually having some good teamwork together. And well, this is going to kind of be the end of this video. I just kind of want to talk about a few of the cards. Now, first being Thorns Yami. I had no idea it didn't work against Sacred Alchemy. And, you know, that is a perfect counter to that Thorns Yami. So if you are running an ADC and, you know, you're going against a Greystone or something, with that Thorns Yami, it doesn't matter if he uses it or not. And as you could see, it was completely negated by that Sacred Alchemy with Wukong earlier. So, you know, it is what it is, but that's definitely something to note. Compensator rig, you know, on Narbash, I did see a little bit of a difference, but it was very minor. And since I was able to heal up a lot, I definitely need to test this out on someone like Greystone, or maybe Grux, or, you know, any hero that doesn't have a sustain. If you're using this on a hero with a sustain, I would say there's much better cards out there. And, you know, all in all, this was a really fun match. Sometimes you get in these type of matches and you have to go in them expecting, like, hey, I'm going to do the best that I can and turn a bad situation good. Fortunately, that didn't happen this match, but, you know, you saw we made some great plays, and it was definitely a very fun match. Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy this jungle offlane Narbash video, show me some love, leave me a comment, think about subscribing, join our Discord if you haven't done it. So that's, you know, 2 of the guys I was playing with in this match were from Discord, and I would love to play with more of y'all. Well, again, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.